All right, guys, it's Thanksgiving time. Want to give thanks out to the Patreons, man. Like I always try to do when we try to do these shows, and we got the review of the 30 Coins, episode 5, if I'm not mistaken. The Arcane Symbol is what it was called. So let's jump right into it. And with all that being said, first time coming in, if you're watching the show after we do it and everything, hit that subscribe button down there, hit that little bell and everything. We go live with the 30 Coins reviews, and most of our reviews that we do these days, we've been doing them live and everything else, just in case people want to jump in, get some questions answered, or talk about the episode that we just watched and everything else. Like I said, it's 30 Coins. I think it was called the Arcane Symbol, episode 5, if I'm not mistaken, going on out there for the world of 30 Coins, man. Caleb, what'd you think overall about this last episode?
I mean, I thought it was a really fun episode. I mean, a lot of fun parts happening. A little bit of cheesiness at the end, but still had fun with it. That's why I thought it was fun. Like I didn't, it's not like I'm taking it too seriously. But I thought we saw some really cool stuff. With just all those creatures and that hell area, what was going on there. That was a cool scene. And then just kind of like a fun kind of adventure to be going on throughout this episode. So that's what I liked about it.
Man, we seem to be repeating ourselves a little bit pretty much every week, because I know I've said it a couple times and you just kind of mentioned it right there. This is definitely a show to like sit back, relax, and just have some fun with it. You know what I'm saying? You don't try to take it like super seriously, and you can in certain parts of the, like I've said before, the main part of the story is always put together pretty well. Not the cheesiest of stuff. It's like the random things that happens outside of that's like got all the cheese and stuff like that mixed in with it, like you're talking about. And man, I enjoy this episode too. I enjoy pretty much every one of these 30 Coin episodes. Like, have some fun with it. It's always got something like entertaining to look forward to in almost all cases. I thought this one right here, kind of like last week, kind of progressed the story a little more. We kind of getting more about like what's going to be going on and all this stuff. And we got the YouTube lady that we kind of like disgraced in the last episode, because we both kind of admitted we didn't really like her like side of the story. I actually thought they kind of bounced back with her on this episode. Like,
I
actually thought that
exactly.
It's
like she was finally useful. Like she finally did something. She was finally part of the story. Like, for most of this season, she was like, "What are you doing here? Like, why even on screen?" And then
it was almost like I kind of felt like she was almost one of those characters that was kind of just there to bring in some like nuance, to have like a YouTuber there, because YouTube and people streaming and stuff's gotten more and more popular and all this stuff and everything else, like with the influences they could have. I did think one of the funniest parts was like whenever the one guy was like, "Man, you don't know who she is? She's got almost 100,000 followers." I was like, bro, that's weak sauce. Compared to like some of the compared to like some of the bigger, say, YouTubers, influencers, and everything else, 100,000's like not that much, considering like if you're talking about some of the most popular ones. I thought that was kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? It's like they propped her up a little bit, but it was like 100,000 followers. Okay. But yeah, man, I thought her side of the story really got good this week. So I actually think that the actress didn't do bad or anything. Did pretty well with what she's got and what she's working with. And I thought her side of the story definitely got better. I kind of thought it was cool. She sent out the video of like, hey, if you're with me and stuff like that, there's some stuff going on and watch out for the symbol. And then like she already had all these people that was like part of almost an army that was wearing the shirt.
Yeah,
coming out there, followers.
The scene itself was cheesy as hell. I mean, they just come out with some sunglasses and wearing the T-shirt, and they just come out in the line.
But
so it was.
I didn't necessarily think that was necessary. I didn't think that part was necessarily Caleb cheesy. Cheesy Caleb, because like I actually was like, you know what? Some like super fans of a random YouTube streamer or something like that that's doing all these like, she goes obviously and tries to find like haunted places kind of thing is what it seems like she was like doing for her streams, like mysterious places and everything. Like, I think her followers would kind of be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, be those type of people that would show up thinking it's cool to wear all glasses, to make a shirt that looks like everybody's shirt, like they're on
Just
the
the way
same
it was.
team.
They're like, oh, I'll unzip at the same time. Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that was actually that was pretty funny. Uh, and the fact that really and truthfully they all showed up just to make like a human fence so that they would have a way to try to get out of there and everything else. We did have Paul Giamatti's character kind of doing some other shit. Like, we found out more information about him, that like
he was
he's
playing
out there
real life Dungeon Dragons.
Yeah,
apparently.
That was actually like kind of funny as well. So Paul Giamatti's character, he's like kind of like the bad guy that's trying to get a lot of these coins and everything else, doing this thing. And you know, yeah, you're right. Like, he even rolls a D20 at part of it, right? Like, he has all these men that he's made, these plastic guys that he's created and stuff, and he has them on this board. And he like at one spot he kind of rolls like a D20 on the board. I think that was just to showcase people like, hey, this is kind of what we're looking at here. Because he doesn't really do that anymore. But like, yeah, but he kind of is like moving these pieces around, and the pieces are kind of moving on their own. It was kind of cool. He's got like, I don't know where he's getting it from, but he's got this kind of power that can kind of control a few people and stuff that's on his side, that's trying to get the book from Paco and his woman. Yeah, I thought that was actually kind of cool. I also thought it was cool that we learned, you know, like, he's out there on these ships and stuff because like because he can't be arrested out there because it's international waters, all this stuff. So we know he's been going around doing some things for quite a while, right? He's got a record built up in all these other places and everything else. So like, he can't. That's why you don't see he's on those ships a lot, off of the land and everything else. But yeah, he's kind of controlling people using like army men or whatever you want to call it, like models that he's created on these boats and stuff like that while he's out to sea. I mean, what did you actually think about? I thought it was kind of cool because Thanksgiving dinner yesterday with my family, like, we ate, hung out after we ate for a little while, and then we actually played a session of Dungeons and Dragons afterwards. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when he had the live person that was like a green figure taking I guess they can take the people's form. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool scene, and that just like this weird green. It literally was like one of the green figures come to life and taking the form of the person, and it's the person that they were looking for the whole time. So yeah. We'll have to see what's going on in the next episode. And then he can control it. Like, he literally talks for it and can see whatever contraption he has to see what they're looking at and, you know, talk through it. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool little thing set up. Like, now it gets me to wonder, like, all the other, like, you know, what do you want to call them? Like, zombie slaves or whatever that he's kind of controlling, you know, throughout this whole episode. Did all of them start off as one of those green globs that grabbed another person to take control over and get their form? So, like, that's actually pretty cool, pretty crazy to think about, right? Because, like, when you're watching the episode, you're thinking, oh, he's taking control of these random people that's on the streets, or it's people he already has set up there or whatnot. But then whenever you see that happen, you're like, wait 1 second, is he just dropping these, like, green plastic like figurines like into random places, and then they're taking over somebody else's form, like we saw that one guy did at the end of the episode? So are all these guys starting off as these like green plastic figures that take over somebody's? Like, I actually think that's a pretty cool concept and everything when it comes to it, like some kind of power that he can have. And like, is he getting this power because he's got all these coins, or is this something that he's got power because we know he's collected all these other things, right? We know he's got other stuff. He doesn't just have the coins. So like, or is this some kind of power that he gained from some kind of relic or something that he had gotten in the past?
Yeah. But the reason why I say it's kind of a little cheesy, because it did remind me kind of like Power Rangers, where freaking they send out their putty creatures to attack the Power Rangers. And
I will have to
it's
say,
just funny when he's just going like this, and he's acting kind of like the main villain Power Rangers, like, God, the Power Rangers got spoiled my plan again.
Yeah. He's slapping the table. Yeah, slapping the table and bringing up slapping the table. Because I kind of agree with you. Like, there are some things on this show that look really good. Like, I think the demons and the hell part and everything else looks really good. What up, Brandy? But yeah, she's actually in the other room right now. But anyway, so like, I think that there are certain things of this show that look really good. Like the devil, like the whole scene, I guess you could say hell or whatever with the demons. I think those things, they look more practical and everything else, and they look more real and they look pretty good. So I don't know if this got a little bit of CGI or if it's all practical or whatnot. Some of the CGI here and there in this show doesn't look very good. It kind of adds to the cheesiness, which is fine because of what kind of show it is. But it's definitely, obviously, they don't have the big budget that some of these other, like a Wheel of Time, like something Amazon's putting a bunch of money in or whatever, right? Like, they just don't have the budget and money to really do all these things and spend as much money on it. So I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm not going to judge a show just based off of CGI. But yeah, you're right. Some of that stuff's like CGI and kind of cheesy.
But I think they're self-aware about it, because the YouTube, when she was getting her people on the when she was getting her people together, she literally says, "I know this sounds like a low-budget horror movie plot, but it's the truth." So I think they're self-aware of saying, like, okay, this shit's ridiculous. So we know it. But
dude, they gotta know that, because like in the one episode, what was it, the second or third episode, the kind of end boss that you would say on that particular episode was a big, huge mechanical Grim Reaper that came out of nowhere. It was just like, bro, some guys like, hey, what can we do for episode 2? And one guy was like, dude, I got this idea. I've been thinking about it, man. It's a big ass Grim Reaper. It is really just mechanical. You know what I'm saying? And he comes like with a big ass scythe trying to like wipe out a character. And they were like, well, how do we make that make sense? And then some guy's like, bro, we don't have to make it make sense. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what some of the things that happen in the show happen just for them to do something cool. It's kind of like with Paco's girl. I always forget her name, Elena or whatever. Elena. So like she ends up getting impregnated by this thing. And then, like, whenever it dies and all that stuff, like they peel everything back, they find a key, right? When they explode it or whatever, whenever Paco stomps on it to death and crushes it, they find a key. And it's like that key ends up being something they needed. They could have got that key or found that key in any other way, right? Like whether they went and did like a mission, went and found it in a book, went and did something like that, right? But like the thing about it is they did this creative just to be able to put some kind of spider monster to come out, right? Like it's like they sometimes do things for the look, for the fun of it and stuff, even if it doesn't make sense. And like I said, I'm fine with it because this is show that's like, yo, bro, we're going to give you like a little bit of a cool story and show you some really cool moments and everything else. But that's what we're about. We're not about, being the best ever, about putting everything together and everything making sense necessarily. Because to me, like I said, this is a show that I actually have fun with. There's no pressure. There's no me trying to be super critical about it, because it's just to watch and have fun. And speaking of, when home dude's like smashing the table and, doing the whole Power Rangers evil villain things, he's mad because the Power Rangers are winning. In this case, it's Paco and them winning. So like when they're like smashing the table and everything else, like whenever he does that, it causes one of his like minions that he has to basically explode. He gets mad, slams the thing, and then like one of those characters that he's using, that he's in control of, just explodes. So that's the weird, almost funny death that we got in this episode, was him bashing the table, and when he did, it like crushes one of his actual like models, and then that person in like real life explodes.
But like I said, there's still some serious parts in this where they connect to religions and like history and those stuff I really like. And like when they go into the hell area, I found that was really, really gruesome looking, especially when those creatures just slaughtered everybody. That was pretty bad. But I also just question, like, like you said, they just show stuff, but they don't really explain why it's there or something, because they don't really explain why those souls are there. Like, or they're not like, you know, damn souls were like straight up in hell. They're like keeping them in a dungeon for like kind of like separate on their own for some reason. But if you're just gonna slaughter them, so why are they actually there? Like it's kind of like you don't know what's going on there.
I brought it up in one of the first few episodes whenever he's doing it. I figured that this was some kind of purgatory. It wasn't like truly hell, but it's really close to hell. So you have like the demons and stuff kind of there and everything. But I don't even know if this is truly supposed to be hell. Maybe it's more like a purgatory, you know, like people that wasn't like bad enough to go to hell straight away are good enough to be like in heaven. So they're kind of stuck in the middle. So that's the way I've kind of looked at this place. Maybe that's right. I might be wrong. It might be straight up hell. It is a pretty interesting take if it is like hell. Like I said, the creatures and stuff, and that is always the best. Like they did the thing. Like I said,
and one of the best looking things that wasn't I thought would look really good was when they showed the Sanjo, the friend, and he was cut in half. I thought that was really well done. I thought that looked really good.
No, yeah, man. All the like I said, there's certain parts of this that looks more practical than others, and the practical stuff looks super good. I think most of hell, except for obviously the background and everything CGI, but like I think most of hell and everything else is going to be really good. Really seems like practical effects and everything else, which is super cool. But like some of the other stuff, like the green guy, but I think some of it, like you said, some of that they might be doing like that on purpose because, hey, man, it's supposed to look cheesy. Like they want it to look kind of like that, like kind of crazy looking and stuff sometimes. So. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to like be able to talk to the director and some of the people, maybe get interviews or whatnot, so where you can see like what's their actual goal, you know, like with this whole thing. But it's always had an interesting concept, and then you throw in the fun things that you can have fun with it mixed into there, and it's like, man, really super good. And like I said, I don't think any of the actors are terrible. I mean, they're not going to win like Emmys and Oscars or anything like that either, but I don't think any of them's terrible. They're good enough. And they do their parts. And my weakest part of the story was the YouTuber. And now she's became, like, after this episode, she's actually a pretty cool character now. Like, I'm like, oh, shit. So now I even like her. So to me, there's really not a certain, like, weak point in the show because the one guy's still in the insane asylum. Like, he's trying to escape or do his thing. Like that's always been kind of interesting, and we've learned some things there. I have to go back and look at when he had that visitor. Like maybe you know more about the visitor and everything. Like have some thoughts about that. But like he had that visitor while he was in there, and I know he wasn't wanting to say anything because obviously they got cameras and shit like that. So I don't know if that was like a trick that somebody like sent to him. Hopefully he was going to give up some information because of it or whatnot. So. Yeah, that's something I did want to go back and rewatch and that particular part just to see like what I gathered from what she was saying and how he was acting.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like his family member, his wife, or whoever. You know, someone that knows him. Yeah, I definitely think that was set up by them just to see if he was like really acting. But yeah, that was a good moment for that surprised me was Antonio. You know, I've kind of been, you know, kind of getting a little bored of what Antonio's been doing because he had really, like you said, he was kind of just with the YouTuber, not really contribute. But I thought he had a funny moment because when he was talking to the YouTuber and he's like, no, the police officer or security guard that's in the saying like he's in trouble, he's alone, and she's like he's not alone. He's like, how's he in trouble? It's like, because he's in there with a bunch of crazy people. I was like, oh, this exactly. Making some sense. And I thought it was funny.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, he's in there with a bunch of crazies and everything, like by himself. And he's like, it's funny because he's supposed to be his friend, but he's like saying things like, we just got to forget about him. Like, he's like, forget about him. We got to go get Paco and them because they're in trouble and stuff like that. And it's like, bring some like things to it. Like, that guy is like, the guy that plays Antonio, he's just kind of crazy, man. He's got these like this facial expressions and stuff. Like he'd be talking seriously, but like whenever he does like certain facial expressions, it's almost like he's smiling, almost like he's half laughing. Like, and he's supposed to be saying something super serious sometimes, just the way he looks and stuff. So like, I'm always like, I almost start to laugh a little bit when I see him because he'd be like talking, but he has like this big looking grin thing on his face. It's like, bro, you just talked about somebody dying. What the hell are you talking? But he's supposed to be crazy, like, you know what I'm saying? So that is how it is. But I think we covered this one right here. Like I said, fun show, a fun show to like talk about here and there. Like it is kind of like weird to me. Like I haven't found that groove of really knowing exactly what's going on, which I really think that like this show is good for that, right? Like some shows I'll start watching and like the first 2 episodes, I'm like, well, I know what the fuck's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? There's almost no point in watching the rest of the season because we know this guy's going to be a bad guy and then this is going to happen and whatever. They might throw a surprise here and there. But this show truly, like, you know, like obviously the coins play a part. So you know that's going to be playing a part. But I still don't know what Paul Giamatti's character plays in this, like what he's actually overall trying to do.
Like they just show something at the beginning in the middle of the desert. You have no idea what that's about. Like,
we saw that at the very beginning of the episode. Like you said, don't know shit about that. Don't know why that's important. And now he's trying to get that book, I guess, from Paco and them. So that book that they got stands for something. Obviously, it's got some kind of power to it. And all that. So like, but that's all we know. Like, I don't know. I cannot guess where this thing's going to end. I can't guess because you also have like basically what you would consider like a demon or devil in the first season that was kind of like the ultimate bad. That was kind of like overseeing everything when all these priests were getting together with the coins to do what they were going to do. And like, he's in the show, but he's been kind of helping that priest that's in purgatory or hell or whatever you want to call it. Like this whole time, basically, it's like, bro, what is he doing? Like, you know, right? Like, so yeah. And then like in this episode, like you said, you had mentioned something about Paul Giamatti is trying to bring God into the whole, and maybe that's what he's trying to do. But it's like in this episode, you got the priest from the first season, you know, he's still here in the hell spot. Like, and that's why we keep going to that scenery. And he's trapped in there and he's like, hey, y'all got me in here. It's like a mess up. I'm actually working for your boss. And then the people that's inside the thing is like, who are you working for? Jesus, the Holy Ghost, God, Mother Mary. Like, they're like saying like, yeah, so who are you working for? And it's kind of like throws in there like, you know, maybe this show is going to portray God like not in the best of light because God may be kind of the bad guy here to a certain point. Like, you know, who was that? I mean, because, who is he helping? Like, does he even know who he's helping, right? Like, that's
he got tricked by the devil and the demon and it's the other priest dude to try to help them out. But, at least that's how he feels. He feels he got tricked. But, I don't know what their end goal is. And, we'll see.
We'll see. Like I said, besides knowing that the coins got to be together and all that kind of stuff, it's like, bro, I don't know where this is 100% heading. But that's part of it, man. It's like that kind of feeds into the fact you want to watch the next episode to see like where it goes and what's going to be happening and all this kind of good stuff. So here we go. We got the YouTuber story getting better, and that was my biggest takeaway probably from this episode is like the other parts of the episode was kind of like, okay, on par with what 30 coins is. We got a cool death scene where one dude gets smashed like putty. And then we get, the YouTuber's side of the story getting better. Like you said, now she's more involved. There's something happening. There's a reason why she's there. And it's like, all right, cool. Now I get it. Now I get her character. Okay, fine. That's cool. Well, that being said, Caleb, man, you have any like final thoughts? Got anything that we might have missed or whatever before we head out of here?
No, I think we covered everything pretty well on this episode, at least. Just see what happens. A lot of more crazy stuff going to happen. I'm pretty sure. So let's find out.
Like I said, man, sometimes I like to try to guess ahead, like, oh, this right here. It's like, bro, this show's so crazy, and just all over the place that like there's really nothing to pin down to be like, oh, okay, this is what's going to happen, right? Right? Like there's not like, but I don't know. I can't think of anything that would definitely be something that's like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. All thing I know for sure is that the 30 coins is going to be involved. That's the name of the show. The YouTuber will probably do one or two other things as the season goes that helps because she's got the followers, right? And Paco and them is going to always be trying to run away from these people that's trying to get them either with this book or something else. The priest, I think he's going to be trying to find out some kind of way to help him out, in some way and fashion, but I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know where Paul Giamatti character. I mean, obviously I know he's like the bad guy overall because like he's got all these coins already, a lot of them already put together, and he's got like these powers and stuff. He's got money. He's got yachts. You know what I'm saying? The dude's got yachts, not just a yacht. He's got yachts with an S. So yeah, but like I don't know where the end's going to happen. Like I don't even know like the final destination of like where this is going to happen at. Are they going to go back to the original place? That season 1 was at, right?
Over there.
Yeah.
They haven't said what the hell they're doing over there, doing something though.
I mean, yeah, we really haven't seen a lot going on over there since that dude got killed by the drone, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, the witch is still over there.
Hell yeah.
Doing something over there.
But dude, man, straight up 100%. Like, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching, not just live. Like I've said the last couple of times, come in here while we're live, man. Ask your questions and stuff because I would like to get some like other people that may watch the
Tell
show.
us what's going the hell on because we gotta know.
But that's like I said, that's one reason why I love this show is because there are some television I'll be like, bro, this is what's gonna happen, and I'm like 90% correct, right? There might be a loophole that gets thrown in there somewhere that changes it just a little bit. This show, it's like, bro, like you could basically say anything. Like I could say Godzilla shows up at the end and they have to like beat him to stop the devil from coming, and it literally might happen. You know what I'm saying? Like it could happen on this show. If it's not Godzilla, just a big ass lizard, because there's always been crazy creatures and mechanical things and all this other stuff that's been going on in the show. But yeah, man, show up guys live if you can. This week we did it Friday, but we've been doing these on Thursday night at about 8:15 Pacific time, 10:15 Central time. Yeah, man, we'd like to have y'all's, and even if you can't be there live, throw some comments in the YouTube down there below and we'll answer them. We'll take those questions and use them for the next episode. If y'all throw some questions down there related to the show, we'll actually answer them on our next episode that we do live for that week. But if that's it, man, I think we're gonna get out of here for tonight. So thank you everybody that watched. Thank you everybody that watches later. And hit that like and subscribe button, man. And we'll see you next week with another 30 Coins crazy episode. We'll talk about how somebody else got smushed to death or dropped from a high vantage point or killed by a drone. We'll definitely be talking about one of those things because something crazy pretty much happens with those kind of things every episode. But until next time, peace.